Hi guys. In today's video, we're exploring the perspective grid feature of Adobe Illustrator. The perspective grid is a tool that allows you to create artwork, which can be objects, text, or shapes along vanishing points, simulating depth and spatial relationships. So let's learn how to use it. To access perspective grid, let's go to View, and you can find the perspective grid option sitting there. You can set the 1-point perspective grid, which looks something like this. This one is designed to create artwork that converges to a single vanishing point on the horizon line and is commonly used for compositions where the viewer is looking straight down a scene, such as a hallway, road, or railroad track. Now we have the 2-point perspective grid, which is commonly used to depict objects or scenes viewed from an angle, such as buildings, street corners, or boxes, providing a realistic sense of depth and dimension. The last one here is the 3-point perspective grid, which is used to create artwork with 3 vanishing points, offering a more dynamic and realistic representation of depth, especially for tall objects or extreme angles. Then you also have the option to define the perspective grid, which allows you to customize the perspective grid settings to suit the specific needs of your artwork. This feature lets you adjust parameters like the grid's orientation, spacing, and vanishing point positions for more precise and tailored design work. To hide the perspective grid, go to View, and then Perspective Grid, and select the Hide Grid option. We can always activate the perspective grid from the toolbox on the left by clicking this icon, or using the shortcut Shift-P. By clicking the icon, by default, the last selected grid is shown. When we double-click the icon on the toolbar, this menu is thrown open on the screen, where we can tweak these settings that you see on the screen. So let's cancel this and change the perspective grid to 2-point. Let's zoom out for a better view. The right side grid plane can be extended or retracted using this handle here. Similarly, the left side grid plane can be updated using the handle. The top and bottom can also be modified using the handles on top and bottom. Using this handle on the right, you can take the left plane apart like this. Similarly, the handle on the left can help you modify the right side of the plane. Let's demonstrate using some text. So let's pick the Type tool and type in some text. Let's increase the size of the text. Let me pick a thicker font because the thin font won't look so good for this text effect. With the text selected, let's right-click and convert it to outlines. Now what I'm trying to achieve here is to split the text into 2 parts. And there are various ways to do it, but let's teach you something new. I'm going to pick the line segment tool and holding Shift, draw a straight line on top of the letter T. Now, using the selection tool, just ensure that the line is drawn right in the center of the letter T. Next, let's go to Object and then Path, and select this option that says Divide Objects Below, which will split the letter T into 2 halves. Now click to select the entire word, and then hit Ungroup to let the letters have their own identity. So when we select the letter T, you can find only half of it gets selected because of the split we created a few seconds ago. So the next thing we'll do is select the right side of the word until the right part of the letter T, and then group it. Similarly, select the left side of the word until the left half of the letter T, and then group it. So the idea is to place the left side of the word into the left plane and the right side to the right. Select the perspective grid from the toolbar so that we could click to select the planes from the perspective grid widget in the top left corner. I'm going to select the left plane from the widget and then pick the perspective selection tool from the drop-down. The shortcut to select it is Shift-V. Now, click the left side of the word and drag to the left plane. It will perfectly place itself into the grid. Now, using the corner handle, update the size to fit the entire left plane. Next, let's select the right side from the perspective grid widget and ensure that the perspective selection tool is selected, and then drag the right side of the word to the right plane of the grid. Now, using the corner handles, align this side to match the left side of the word. To ensure that the sides are perfectly aligned, use the direct selection tool and then select the 2 points using click-drag. Then right-click and select the average option. And when you see this pop up, ensure that the both option is selected and hit OK. And let Illustrator do its magic. Similarly, go to the bottom of the letter, and you can clearly see that the points are not aligned here. So let's select the 2 points, and then right-click, and select Average. And when the pop-up is thrown onto the screen, ensure both option is selected, and hit OK. And you will find how perfectly the points will now be aligned. So you see how nice the word looks in perspective. To beautify it further, let's add some gradient to the word. I'll select the left side of the word, and then go to the Fill option, and select the preset gradient. Now, let's go to the gradient option and update the gradient colors to make the color transition look gradual. And that wraps up our video on Perspective tool. I hope this tutorial inspires you to explore it further in your projects. In the next video, we'll learn how to draw patterns in Illustrator, so ensure not to miss it. I shall be back soon. Until then, goodbye and thanks for watching.